I believe I am live. Let me get situated here a bit. No real great way to do this aside from the earthquake. Man, I already got a thumbs up. How about that? Much appreciated. All right. Let's see. Hey there, Rex, Andrew. I can't see what's actually in the shot. Let me pull up my chat on my laptop. Let's see. All right. Just getting situated, you guys. Hang in there with me. So we got, I'm showing 8 watching so far. Where is, I forgot to bring a bottle opener. I did forget to bring a bottle opener. How can I improvise? I will try this. I don't think that's gonna work. Well, guys, I hate to run off camera, but if I can't open this bottle, that's so weird. I could have swore I still had a bottle opener on my keychain. Well, I tell you what, give me 30 seconds, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see, still live? Let's put this mic back on. No, I'm here. I'm here. I haven't been abducted. I usually say this, but it's kind of a stand. Am I back? Guys, I think we're having internet problems tonight. We'll see how it goes. This may be short-lived. If the feed goes down, just know it probably wasn't a home invasion or anything. I probably just lost internet. So, hello from Israel. Hello back. Gonna use my, I guess I did take this off my keychain a while back. I'm gonna use my Dagner bottle opener that I've had for a few years now. Shaking my own table. Well, it is Wednesday Night Lights and I have not gotten to the lights quite yet. But let me tell you what I'm drinking. I do all kinds of product placement tonight. Some Sierra Nevada Torpedo Extra IPA. Good stuff. Mike at Pryor Blues, welcome. Boca to Boynton. All right. The crew is filing in. Rounding up the usual suspects. Got this cool little Muletown Pipe Show koozie that I got this past year. hopefully they'll have another pipe show next year that I can get to. Because obviously we're skipping 2020. Or was that earlier in 2020? I don't remember if they did it the tail end of 2019. I think they did it in like October of 2019. I don't think the koozie says. No. But anyway, it was at Pryor Works in Columbia, Tennessee. All right. So you guys see a couple of new posters in the background tonight. I will let you know about the tobacco in the jars behind me. Oh, no, these jars here, it's just all kinds of stuff. That's kind of overflow of my personal cellar. Stuff from all over the place. All through space and time. This is some plum pudding from Seattle Pipe Club 2014. This is some Stokeby 701 Virginia from 2016. What is that? Some Stonehaven from 2015. And I've probably got, this is Stokeby's Danish Export from 2017. I've probably got 20 to 25 just miscellaneous jars back here. This is just mixing barley right here. Some Sir Walter right there. All kinds of stuff back there. So, nothing I keep on hand on the regular, so to speak. It's just all hodgepodge stuff back there. The stuff I'm smoking through, you don't see. It's down here. Just opened a new tin of Old Dark Fired recently. What was I saying? Oh, the posters. So I've got some new posters. I got some posters sent to me by one of my viewers. I don't know if he's on here tonight or not, but he sent me the Silverado poster and the Fletch poster right there, as well as a few others that I might cycle through. And then you don't see the whole poster over here, but I got this new Laser Cats poster that I just thought was ridiculous enough to be funny. It makes me smile every time I see it. But it's got laser cats and a flying octopus and unicorns. I don't think that comes from anything at all. It's just a funky, funky poster. Hello, friends. Hello, NC Smokey Bear. All right, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to load up my Beltane's Fire Rattray's pipe. So let's filter up, lest I forget. Michael Schenkel, doing well, sir. I hope you are the same. And I've been smoking through some Captain Earl's Diamond Head today. I think I've had 2 or 3 bowls of that. So I might want to go with something else. Haddo's Delight, maybe? Yeah, I'll go with the Haddo's Delight. McBaron's Laser Cats. I don't know that would be... It would be funny. I'd buy it just for the name. But I don't know that Laser Cats is a great name for a pipe tobacco. Unless Cornell and Deal did it and they put some awesome Laser Cat art on the tin. But I don't know what kind of blend Laser Cats would be. I mean, what do laser cats taste like? Also, my friend the Fly is here in the West Parlor with me tonight. Let me see if I can get him. Swing and a miss. Every time I open my garage door, I get one fly come in, and he stays in. I mean, it seems like every time I open the garage door, it's like the same fly is immortal and just hangs out at the garage door waiting for me to open it. But I know he's not immortal because I kill him every time. But one time I had two. He brought a buddy, but usually it's just the one. And then I have to deal with him for 30 minutes or so until I can nail him. I want an assault gun. That would be so cool. I think I don't remember how much they are. But I saw the video for the assault gun. I think it was a crowd fund thing years ago, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen up to that point. All right, well, let me light up. I smoked some Haddo's Delight in one of my live streams a month or so ago. It did not want to stay lit for me, but it's had time to dry out since then. So here's hoping. Hope you guys are sharing a bowl with me tonight. Let me know what y'all are smoking. Uh-oh. We're not gonna have a debate night thing with this fly, are we? One of my favorite, possibly my very favorite TV show of all time was Breaking Bad. I just thought it was extremely well written, and it had a beginning, middle, and end. And it felt like a cohesive story. The actors were fantastic. And I mean, from start to finish, it just seemed like it was very well done, with the exception of the episode called Fly. Some people like that episode. I just thought it was needless. That could be stricken from the record. Or at least done differently. It just seemed like a standout oddball episode, and it was the only one in the whole series that felt like that to me. So I hope we don't have our Fly episode tonight. Vintage 10 of We Three Kings. Burley Without Bite from Daniel Leslie. Here's hoping. Tallahassee. How can I support Pipe Nook if you can't ship here? I appreciate that thought, the sentiment. As thick as blood. I can't ship you tobacco, but what that also means is I've got the website set up to not accept Florida orders. But if you'll email me, thepipenook@outlook.com, or use my contacts page, you can send me a list of any pipes and accessories that you would want to purchase from me, and I can send you an invoice. I just can't sell you any tobacco, being in the state of Florida along with me, because we have an 85% in-state sales surtax. Daniel, nothing is off topic. Well, almost nothing. So my favorite movie from the 80s. I've got too many favorites from the 80s to nail it down to just one. I love The Goonies, even though I don't think it stands up super well. At least not for the younger generation. I still enjoy it, but I confess that I have to make the concession that it's noisy and busy, and I mean, it's not, you know, overly realistic or believable, but I mean, to me, that's what an 80s movie's all about. It doesn't have to be realistic or believable. The 80s themselves were kind of unbelievable. But The Goonies is one of my favorites from the 80s. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is pretty high up there. The Great Outdoors is a good one, Daniel, but for John Candy, I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin. That's probably my favorite John Candy movie, with the exception, possibly in the running, would be Summer Rental, where he's an air traffic controller and he takes his family to a beach house for the summer. Really love that movie. Over the Edge. I don't know if I ever saw Over the Edge. I remember Over the Top, Sylvester Stallone playing a truck driver slash arm wrestling champion. Over the Top. I think Sammy Hagar did a song for that soundtrack. Yeah, Summer Rental's great if you guys haven't seen that. I think it's kind of a lesser known movie. Actually, John Candy's daughter in that movie played Andy in The Goonies, either the year before or the year after. They were real close together, 84, 85, 86, somewhere along there. Boca, have a good night. Yeah, I mean, I could talk for hours about 80s movies. That might be a topic of discussion for the podcast that I'm thinking about doing with my buddy Jason. We're thinking about doing a podcast that's going to be pretty 80s centric, music, movies, television shows. But we'll talk about other stuff too. It's kind of on hold right now. We were really hoping to start it by the end of the year, but we're both pretty busy these days. You guys are keeping me busy through the holiday season, and that's much appreciated. You guys remember, we're still on the 80s movie kick. There was a movie that Stallone was in called Rhinestone Cowboy with Dolly Parton. That was a good one. I thought it was funny. Hard to imagine Stallone as a country singer, but that was kind of the setup, was Dolly Parton was going to make him into a country music star. I think on a bet, if I remember. It's been years since I've seen it. Also, kind of along the lines of that setup, one of my all-time favorite 80s movies, which also has John Candy in it, is Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor and John Candy. Phenomenal movie. So if you haven't seen it, Richard Pryor has like a estranged uncle or something who passes away. Millionaire. And there's a secret will. He has to keep all of this under his hat. He is given $30 million. And if he can spend that $30 million in, I think, a month, so $1 million a day, at the end of the month, and he has zero assets to show for it, and all of the money is spent. If he can do that, he inherits $300 million. And it's really funny because, you know, Richard Pryor's the guy who stands to inherit the money, but John Candy's his best friend, and he's trying right and left to keep Richard Pryor from making all these bad business decisions, trying to help him make money instead of lose it, because he sees his friend just going off the rails, buying incredibly stupid stuff. And he's trying to help, but, you know, every time he helps, it doesn't help. Caddyshack, another good one. Weird Science, I love Weird Science. Daniel, I think every now and then about the possibility of selling cigars and cigar accessories, but I would need to have a fairly large humidor, or maybe even turn my office or something like that into a humidor, like a walk-in humidor. I'm sure I could start with like a smaller setup and a very limited amount of cigars, but honestly, I'm not into cigars nearly enough to be knowledgeable at this point. It would be a whole lot more research for me, and about something I'm not as passionate about as pipes and pipe tobacco. So not anything that's going to happen in the near future. Eddie and the Cruisers is a good one. Oh, all the Lethal Weapon movies are great. Yeah, I haven't smoked cigars regularly since I really took to the pipe, and that would be about 2012. 2012, 2013. No, it would have been 2012, because I remember we moved into this house in 2013, and I was smoking out on the front porch at the old house. Didn't have a west parlor to smoke in. Another favorite 80s movie of mine is John Cusack is in this one. It's called Better Off Dead. Better Off Dead. Early 80s. Seems like a John Hughes film, but it's somebody else. I can't remember his name now. Savage something or other. He had a nickname. But yeah, Better Off Dead. The character he plays is Lane Myers. I think he's a high school senior. Gets broken up with by his girlfriend and thinks his life is over. The guy who plays Booger is in it and played in Moonlighting a few years after that. Me and my wife still quote from Better Off Dead. Anytime we have a new dinner recipe, we'll be like, you see it has raisins in it. You like raisins. There's some great quotables in that movie. Gee, sorry your mom blew up, Ricky. You know, I have never seen Teen Wolf all the way through. That's one of those 80s movies I need to revisit. Oh. What got me started on pipes? Well, I've told that story a few times at this point, but mostly it was because I just was always drawn to the pipe because my great-grandfather smoked a pipe. And I always looked up to him, thought he was a patient man. And that was something I definitely lacked in my younger days, was patience. And the pipe does slow me down, get me to think a little bit more systematically, methodically. Oh, you guys just want me to talk about the 80s tonight, huh? 80s bands. Oh, Strange Brew. I got the McKenzie Brothers album up there. I'm sure you've seen it, but I love Strange Brew. That was a movie I quoted a lot in high school. It was after my time. I mean, it came out years before my high school years, but a bunch of us found it and latched onto it as a cult favorite. Daniel, there's tons of tobacco I would like to carry that I don't now, but it all comes down to capital and space, and I quickly run out of both. I just ordered a couple of new shelves for my storage room. What used to be my office is now the Pipe Nook inventory room. I need to put those together, but I'm really more interested in carrying more pipes than tobaccos in 2021. That's going to be my focus. I have decided to, I was thinking a while back, maybe regulations and FDA bullcrap just gets the better of me and forces my hand to not carry them. But I'm going to stick with it. I'm just not really looking to amp up or beef up my offerings at this point. That could change. But right now I'm kind of looking at carrying what I carry now and for the foreseeable future, unless a brand goes away, and then I might try to replace that brand. But would be nice to be able to carry Presbyterian mixture, which, by the way, I've kind of come around to. A couple of people had asked me about Presbyterian mixture recently, and I was like, it never really struck me. But I pulled out open jarred tin of Presbyterian from 2013, I think it was. Smoked that up in the past week or so. I like it. I like it okay. Still not a favorite, but I get it. Capstan would be nice to carry. But again, not looking to add anything in the way of pipe tobacco for the foreseeable future. Just stick to my guns with what I got for now. So I haven't even started the 80s bands thing, you guys, because I could really go on and on. Can you guys hear me? I hear somebody say I lost my sound. Back? Okay. So in 85, I was 10 years old, and I had discovered music, but I wasn't really a music junkie yet. But, you know, when I was 7, Michael Jackson's Thriller came out, which I thought was the bomb. Up to that point, the greatest album I'd ever heard. Still holds up as one of the greatest albums ever made, I think. Danny boy, welcome, sir. I do like beer. Oh, Huey Lewis in the News is super underrated. I didn't even think much of them back in the 80s. I knew they had some hits, but just in the last maybe 3-4 years ago, I just went through all of their albums. Golly, they got some great albums. But Dan, you'll find this interesting. We're talking about my favorite 80s bands. You can't see it behind me now, but my favorite album of all time is The Outfield's Play Deep. The Outfield is definitely one of my favorite 80s bands. One of my favorite bands, period. Daniel, I went through the Rolling Stones catalog just this past year from start to finish. And I didn't really hear anything that really caught my ear until, what was that? Well, I'm recording with my phone. Let me look at the discography. Steel Panther Live. Interesting. That'd be a good show, I think. You guys can take bets on where I thought the Rolling Stones really started shining. Beggar's Banquet wasn't bad. I was like, okay, this is coming along. Sticky Fingers, I think that was the album that I was like, okay, I get it. I get why the Rolling Stones are as, big as they are. And they had a couple albums after that that I liked. This daggone fly. Yeah, really. Get me and Chad talking music. We could fill up some time. AC/DC's got a new album out, Hillbilly Piper. If you haven't heard it, it made me smile. I saw their first music video the other day. Still sound the same. Bonsai, if you've lost your taste, I'm thinking you're having chemical burns on your tongue, which is, what most people would refer to as tongue bite. Yeah, you should probably stop. If you're not tasting anything anymore, that's a problem. And back in my early days when I was learning to smoke a pipe, that would happen to me, and I'd have to lay off for, at least 3, 4 days before my taste came back. Screw that. What that tells me is you should probably be smoking 9 millimeter charcoal filtered pipes. If you're not already. If you are already, then there's nothing that can help that for you, I don't believe. But if you haven't tried a 9 millimeter charcoal filter, that's the best advice I can give you. If that's the kind of problem you're having, that's like serious tongue bite issue. If you're losing your taste. Oh yeah, Boris, Metallica, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses. I was all over that. So I'm ashamed to say that my gateway drug into hair bands and metal was Poison's "Look What the Cat Dragged In." I was 11 years old. I had a buddy that I palled around with at school and in the neighborhood. His name was Charles, and he woke me up. I think it was a Saturday morning. He woke me up by knocking on my backyard window, my bedroom backyard window, like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, I get out of bed, I open my window. I'm like, dude, what are you doing in my backyard? And it's Saturday. Why are you here at 6:30 in the morning? I wouldn't wake up till 8 or 9. And I had a little hole in my screen, the window screen, and he kind of made that a little bigger by shoving a cassette tape through it. He's like, dude, I just stole this from my sister's room. You got to hear this. He had an older sister. And we busted the screen out and I let him in my room. And we listened to that album. I was like, this is awesome. And I have to say, Look What the Cat Dragged In by Poison was probably, lyrically on par with an 11 to 13-year-old boy. But there are still some songs on it that I enjoy. But from Poison, I got into Cinderella, Bon Jovi. I'm trying to think of all the bands that came out with albums in '86. Definitely Cinderella, Bon Jovi, Poison. A band called Riot, not Quiet Riot, but a band from New York called Riot. Oh, Iron Maiden. Def Leppard came out with Hysteria in '87. That was my first Def Leppard album. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction came out in '87. Oh, Rat. How can I forget Rat? Rat came out with an album in '84, '85, '86, '87. Yeah, I think 4 years in a row. 4 albums, 4 years. Warrant. I was a Warrant fan. That came out in '88, if I remember, their first album. Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. Still a great album to this day. I still pull that up and listen to it. Don Juan, I'm reading your message. I don't know that I'm the best guy to get career advice from. But I would say, I'll tell you my personal experience. I decided to start at a 4-year college instead of a 2-year college, so I did not get an associate's degree. In retrospect, I wish I had, because if I had quit, then at least I would have had a 2-year associate's degree. But after about 2 years, I lost the 2 scholarships I had. So those last 2 years of college took me 5 years to complete as a part-time student, as I worked full-time and scratched and clawed my way, making just barely over minimum wage at hotel jobs and whatnot. And I got an English degree. I did not want to teach. That was the first thing everybody asked me when they found out I was an English major. Well, are you going to teach? No. I wanted to be a writer, and I just didn't know what else to do. Now, my parents wanted me to go to college. They impressed that on me, even though I was 18. At the time, I was still living with them, and they were very much on the college tip. So I went to college. I had, at least those first 2 years, I had scholarship money. And I couldn't think of anything else I was interested in except for writing and reading, and music, but I wasn't a good enough musician to like start a band and start touring. So I thought I'm gonna write, but because I had to go to college, I couldn't think of anything better to do than just major in English. I was like, at least I'm interested in literature. But after 7 years of getting that 4-year degree, writing papers about other people's writings, and having to read like 50 pages a day per class at 4 classes. And well, when I went part-time, I was just doing 2 classes, but that's still 100 pages a day, taking 2 classes. That was my reading load. And then I would have to write assignments over and above that. I was pretty burnt out by the time that was all over with, and wound up not writing anything. I'm really hoping to change that here in the next 5 years or so. Right now my focus is making the Pipe Nook my full-time gig, which would free up 40 hours a week for me, working the day job. But as far as picking a major, Don, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you about getting a full degree or just settling with that associate's degree. But if you decide to stick with a 4-year degree and you don't really know what you want to do, I would advise you get a business degree, because that is what I wish I had done instead of gotten the English degree. I think a business degree is much more versatile. Um, and you can learn how to do all the stuff that I basically fumbled through while I was starting a pipe nook. I had no freaking idea what I was doing when I started this company. Taxes, filing forms with various government agencies. The whole thing was a complete mystery to me. I didn't know what to do first, didn't know the order in which to do anything, and didn't know how to do like a market analysis. Like, there's so much I still wish I had a better handle on. I'm just learning all the time. But a business degree, I think, would have proved very helpful, and maybe I would have started my own business, maybe not the pipe nook, but I would have started a business much, much earlier than waiting until my mid 40s to do it, which is what wound up happening. Okay, I have missed a ton of stuff here. Dan, glad you stopped in, bud. We need to hang out soon. Did that fly just land in my beer? No. Oh. Rattrays versus Peterson. The pipes or the tobaccos? Honestly, I would say why choose? I mean, I'm not looking to be a one brand man, either in business or in my personal collection, but I I would I would say for me, Peterson tobaccos are my preference over Rattray's tobaccos. But that's not to say Rattray's tobaccos are bad. I haven't had a bad one yet, but I haven't tried them all. For pipes, if I personally had to choose, I would choose Rattray's. But if you're going to have at least 2 pipes, you might as well have one of each. That's my thoughts. Patrick, I saw you mention Dockin. I've said it many, many times. I actually almost wore my Dockin shirt today. Dockin's one of my all-time favorite bands. I love every one of their albums, with one possible exception. Getting a little gurgle. But Dawkins, Under Lock and Key is one of my favorites from them. But I mean, I even like their newer stuff. Their lesser known stuff. Broken Bones is a great album. Lightning Strikes Again is a great album. Hell to Pay. I even like Dysfunctional and Shadow Life, and those were kind of the dark days for them. But Back for the Attack is a phenomenal album. They're one of the good ones. Daniel, I couldn't even tell you the difference between college and university. So I don't know what to tell you there. I went to the University of West Florida and they had multiple colleges at the university. So you could, you know, go to the College of Computer Sciences or the College of English and Literature. You could go to the College of Communication Arts. That's my understanding of what a college is. Now, maybe a college would be a smaller uh, institution you would go to only study, like maybe they only specialize in one thing, one discipline. I couldn't tell you. So I guess in that respect, I'm an educated idiot. Hammer, I'm glad you like the Blue Ridge. Man, I love that Blue Ridge. Midmo, have a good evening. Cliff Higgins, welcome, sir. Well, if that's the first vapor you ever tried was Blue Ridge, that is definitely a good place to start. But it's not a strict vapor. If I remember, the Blue Ridge has some Cavendish in it. Maybe even a little burley. Let's see. We'll go to the old tobacco reviews. Black Cavendish, Oriental, Perique in Virginia. So, that accounts for that little bit of extra tang in there with some Orientals. Slightly sour note in the Blue Ridge. Love it. Love it. Riley, I like the Seattle Pipe Club blends as a general rule. My favorites being Mississippi River and Plum Pudding. And I go back and forth between those two. Elizabethan mixture is a very good vapor. I've actually got a 10 I cracked open last week sitting over here. And as we all know, it's Bradley's favorite. I'm at the end of this bowl already. Can't keep the heel lit. Probably shouldn't try. For a light English, I would recommend Early Morning Pipe. That'd be a good one. I like my Englishes with Orientals in there. And for the most part, Captain Earl's and Peterson's, or the old Dunhill blends that are under the Peterson name, excel at using Orientals in their English blends. I've had Northwoods. It wasn't bad, but you know, a heavy lot of Kia blends aren't typically my thing. But when I have the inkling, I've got Captain Earl's 10 Russians and Cornell and Deal's Pirate Cake to fall back on. Justin, I don't know about I mean the Lovecraft line of tobaccos that Cornell and Deal does. I don't want to say it's just a gimmick, but I think it is kind of a gimmicky line. It's a line where I think they take more chances in it than in other lines. But I didn't find a favorite in it. I carried them for a little while, and then I was like, well, pretty tin art, cool names, nice gimmick, but I didn't find a favorite, so I didn't continue to carry them. Trying to think of what a favorite would be in that line for me. I don't know. I think it was Awakened Elder that gave me like a blueberry type topping taste. That was interesting, but again, not something that I gravitated to necessarily. Hammer, if you want to try other light Latakia blends, early morning pipe, like I said, but also those Captain Earl's blends are really good. And their lighter Latakia blends would be Reflections and Mystic Blend. And they're both phenomenal. That whole line is great. But I tend to go for the lighter Latakia myself. Um, yeah, Reflections and Mystic Blend. Good stuff. I have only tried the Orlick Golden Slices. I haven't had the yellow mixture or the racing green or any of that. Yeah, I used to smoke the Paradise cigars, Little Fat Morgan. I used to smoke those. All of that company's Cheroot style, dry cured cigars. They're phenomenal little smokers at not a bad price point. Toscano style. I think it's called Toscano style, where it's dried. You don't have to really worry about keeping it at the perfect humidor temperature and humidity, because they're already, I mean, you could snap them like brittle sticks. They're already dry as a bone when you get them. Epiphany, I think, is another one that's just a hint of Latakia. Well, I'm at the bottom of the bowl. We're at the 1 hour mark. Almost time to wrap up. Oh, favorite Christmas movies. A Christmas Story. That's my favorite Christmas movie. And it depends on what you would consider a Christmas movie. Feels like we've had this discussion maybe last year, but is Gremlins a Christmas story? Is Die Hard a Christmas story? Because I really like Die Hard. Night, Andrew. Daniel, I don't know if we should get everybody sad and down in the mouth talking about McClellan blends since you can't really get them anymore. But I really liked Grey Havens. It was a Virginia Perique they had. Hammer, I appreciate that. Glad it's doing you a bit of good. I haven't seen Silverado in years, but that poster is amazing. Western poster. I need to go back and watch it. But yeah, that poster was gifted to me. Daniel, uh, McClellan blends that are comparable to other blends. Yeah, there's plenty. Somebody should make a resource. I don't know that I'm the guy for that because I didn't delve super deep into the McClellan blends. But it would be nice to have a spreadsheet or some kind of online resource of comparable blends, not just of McClellan's, but other blends that you can't get anymore. I wonder if there's something like that out there. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, all blends of tobacco are variations on a set of themes. I tend to break it down into 5 main categories, maybe 6. But you've got your aromatics, and that can be broken down into subcategories. And then you've got your burley-based blends, your Virginia-based blends, your Virginia Periques, your dark-fired blends, your Latakia blends. Oriental forward blends, and then what I would call kitchen sink blends, which, have like 6 or 7 different components in them. Bob, I will have to check that out. A daily story leading up to a Christmas live. I'll open up a new window. Bob Moog, are you the Bob Moog? Daniel, some tobaccos only have the very lightest of casings. I'm thinking about the H8 series by McBaron. Captain Earl's blends, I don't think have much in the way of casings, if any at all. Nice, Cliff. Glad y'all found a home for that Bing's favorite. Aaron, my favorite plug tobaccos, and I don't smoke them much, but I really like Peterson's 3Ps. And GLP's is Jackknife plug. Riley, I just got 25 more tins of the Rustica. I don't know if I have it in stock yet. I don't know if I put it on the site quite yet. Seems like I did. Let's see. I will check for you. I will check for you. Rustica. Yep, it's on the site. 25 fresh tins. What's up with Jason Dagner? You tell me, G3. I think we've been asking ourselves that in the YTPC for a long time. What is up with Jason Dagner? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been following his channel much. I don't know what he's been up to. I've kind of lost track with him. I got to visit him a few years back. We had a good time. I swung by his place and he gave me some business advice. It was around the time, it was that first year in business for me. So he gave me kind of a rundown of pitfalls and that kind of thing. Things to look out for as a new business owner, a first-time business owner. Very helpful. He was very helpful. Let's see. Me and this fly are about to sign off because his moments are numbered. Look at that. Oh, this fly. Daniel, my favorite Peterson tobacco has got to be Irish Flake, which actually Jason Dagner introduced me to. And my second favorite would probably be University Flake. Yeah. Well, it's hard to say because now they have those Dunhill blends. But as far as original Peterson blends, yeah, Irish Flake and University Flake. But I also really like their Dunhill Deluxe Navy rolls. What would my second favorite Dunhill blend be? I don't know. They're all so good. They really are. Probably Dunhill Flake. When I want a lighter Virginia flake, I go with Dunhill Flake. I also really like Peterson's Sherlock Holmes. So there you go. All right, you guys, I think it's time for me to go check in with the wife and kids. So let's wrap it up. Yeah, let me kill this fly and then I'll go check in with the wife and kids. You guys have a good night, and hopefully we'll be back on next Wednesday night for another Wednesday Night Lights. Glad y'all got to see me, and we'll chat with you later.